Hello everyone, this is Priyabrata and a very happy and warm welcome to Improve IQ. In this video lecture, I gonna discuss about the evolution of the earth and its related theories. Firstly, you should know why this topic is important. Though this topic has been asked in various exams like UPSC, GATE as well as in JAM exams. So the students from BSc background can also watch this. So taking no time, let's get started. The most logical and authentic theory of this topic is the plate tectonic theory. We are also here to make a foundation towards understanding plate tectonics. But to better understand, you must know these theories. Here, the first one is the continental drift theory, which I am going to explain in brief in the same video lecture. Secondly, seafloor spreading and geomagnetism. After which, you will be in a position to better understand the plate tectonic theory. Okay. Now I will tell you everything that has been discovered about continental drift, in which I will discuss that what is this theory about, who is the man behind this discovery, what are the basic assumptions of this theory, and why this theory is very much popular. At last, what are the evidences those made holding good for this theory even right now. I will discuss all of these in brief. So first one is the what is this theory about. So the continental drift theory comes with an idea of the process involving the drifting of the continents in a very large scale. It actually depicts that all the continents were in a single position, means were hauled together in a form of a supercontinent. But due to the drifting, they are now in their corresponding locations. And this theory was coined by Alfred Wegener. We can assume Wegener as the pioneer of the continental drift theory. So Alfred Lothar Wegener was a German polar researcher and a geophysicist. You will be amazed that his hypothesis was controversial and widely rejected by mainstream geology until the 1950s. But when paleomagnetism-like discoveries provide strong support for his continental drift, then actually a substantial basis for today's model of plate tectonic exists. He devoted his entire life in the search of geological processes those are happening over the earth. And all the information were made completely stored in his written book, The Origin of Continents and Ocean. You can get the translated version of his book, and this book contains all the assumptions and premises coined by Wegener. So let's see what are those premises. According to Wegener, a supercontinent existed before 250 million years ago. And the name of that supercontinent was Pangaea. Here Pangaea is a Greek term whose meaning is the entire earth. You can see this in picture. And these are the stages through which it was broke apart. So this is the stage before drifting. And this is the stages later on. The supercontinent Pangaea was surrounded by a huge water body, namely Panthalassa. And with rolling of the time, the Pangaea broke into two parts. The northern part is called Laurentia and southern one is called Gondwana land. After that, a water body widened in between them called Tethys Sea. So you can see the Tethys Sea here. This is the Tethys Sea and these are the other components. Okay. So now I think you have got a basic idea about the premises of Wegener's drift theory. So let's come to different stages of drifting. Now I think you know that continental drift occurred stage wise. Then first stage is the Pangaea stage, which was in the late Carboniferous. So here is this. In the second stage, the continent started moving. It actually intended to form two land masses, that is Laurentia and Gondwana land. You can get a basic idea about these stages from this picture. Here you can see this picture shows the stages very clearly even according to the time. And the third stage says about the opening of Tethys Sea. In this stage, the North America and South America drifted westward, and due to which Atlantic Ocean opened. Means the position in which the North America and South America present was occupied by Atlantic Ocean after drifting. So after that, northward movement of other continents occurred. Here other continents refer to the South Africa, Australia and the country India. So then come to the seventh or the last stage, that is the Rockies and Andes formed in the orogenetic stage. The better example can be the Himalayan mountain. It formed due to the orogenetic movement of Indian plate. Even the Indian plate is still drifting at the rate of 6 to 7 cm per year towards northern direction. Now we covered the stages of continental drift, but you need to know why such type of phenomena happened or which forces are responsible for this mass drifting. So let's look the forces responsible for this shift. For the northward movement, the difference between the force of buoyancy and gravitational pull is responsible. And for the westward movement, the tidal force of the sun and the moon was responsible. Okay, we learnt about the forces responsible for this. As you know, in this scientific era, no one will believe anything without proper evidence. So Wegener also provides some of the evidences in favor of his reputed drift theory. I will explain all of this one by one. Here, those evidences include biological evidence, jigsaw fit, geological evidence, fossil evidence, past climate data, and lastly the paleoclimatic evidence. So come to know what were the biological evidences and how it supported the theory. So there is a bird called lemming which has the tendency to migrate westward for the search of land. But when drifting started, these birds had no idea that the land shifted westwards and she was awaiting for their mass suicide. So it was biologically proven due to the mass destruction of these birds. And uh, and this was the biological evidences. So the second evidence that support the continental drift theory is the jigsaw fit. Continents fit together as they are the puzzle pieces. This evidence was concluded by seeing the apparent fit of the continents. You can see it here. If you join accordingly, then the coastal margins will be matched completely. This evidence firmly supported his theory. So geological societies also agreed that the continents were once together. This was all about the jigsaw fit. Let's come to the third evidence that supports this theory. The third evidence that supports this theory is the fossil evidence. Wegener noticed that same fossils were present in different continents. You can see this in picture. So this color is actually signifying the availability of the fossil of Cynogthos. The Cynogthos are common in South America and Africa. Similarly, the fossils of Pleistosaurs were common in Africa, India, and as well as in the Antarctica. You can see the freshwater reptile, that is the mesosaurs, were found common in South America and Africa. And the flora and fauna of the fern Glossopteris were found common in all the continents. Okay. You can see the current locations of continents. So just assume if the continents were not together, so how could be the availability of these fossils occurred? So hence it also supports the continental drift theory. Then come to the fourth evidence that supports the continental drift is the geological evidence. It says same rock and same edge containing identical mineral content found in different range. It also involves in rock and mountain correlation. So same type of rocks were found in different continents. And those rocks were also of same age, even the mineral content in them were similar. Actually this criteria is only be possible if once they are in a single position. And the better example of this is the mountain correlation of Appalachian mountain range and the eastern Greenland mountain range. Another example that we can take, that is the mountains in North America and Europe. This was all about the geological evidence. Then let's come to another evidence supporting the continental drift theory, that is the past climate data. In different continents, same glacier striations are found. Before understanding this evidence, you must know what is the striations. Glaciers are the giant mass holders and they possess structures according to the climate. When this giant mass of glaciers move over the rock surface, then actually the scars are formed. Glaciers can only be found in the polar regions. So glacier striations should be also present there. But geologists found glacier scars in the rock of the continent present in the tropical regions, which actually not in the polar region. Okay. So here is the example. That is the scars in tropical rainforest of South Africa and America is the greater example of same striations made by the glaciers. This was all about the past climate data evidence. Finally, the last evidence supporting this theory is the paleoclimatic evidence. It says some of the fossil fuels are likely to be found in temperate and polar region, but the criteria for them is intense heat and pressure. Hence, due to continental drift, those are drifted from the tropical region. The best example is the distribution of bituminous coal. These are of sedimentary origin formed from compacted plant remains. So the bituminous coal are mainly formed in the temperate regions or the tropical rainforest region. But if you see the distribution of anthracite and bituminous coal over the world, this will make you completely astonishing. These are found mainly in United States, Russia, China, but they are not in the tropical rainforest region. So it is assumed that someday they were in tropical region. You can know which are the tropical rainforest region from this picture. But due to the drifting of continents, they have been moved from their corresponding positions. Hence, these were the evidences that supported the Wegener's continental drift theory. Here is the end of my video. You can practice what you have learned by downloading the question page below. And if you like my video, just make sure you have subscribed my channel and press the bell icon for future topics. And please like, share, comment and do subscribe as well as press the bell icon. Thank you.